Good morning. Today on Spotlight, focusing in on a major shift inside the Urban Entrepreneurship Initiative program, how it is shaping business and communities of the future. W. David Tarver, founder and president, will tell us. And later on our Sunday morning program, an update on how the arts are impacting the economy and image of Michigan's largest city. Rochelle Riley, director of Detroit's Arts and Culture Department, will be my guest. It's Sunday, June the 23rd. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. Let's pick up a little bit, because I think a lot of people probably don't know the difference between traditional entrepreneurship and urban entrepreneurship. Is there a difference?
Well, there are differences and there are lots of similarities, of course.
Okay.
But when we talk about urban entrepreneurship, we're talking about entrepreneurship that is intentionally focused on improving the quality of life in an urban community.
Okay.
So you're still talking about for-profit businesses. Mm-hmm. You're still talking about assembling people and resources to get something done. But the community that you're looking to serve, the products and services that you're looking to create are aimed at improving the quality of life. We want entrepreneurs and innovators to focus on solving those problems that we find in urban communities, regardless of what the area it is. It may be mobility, it may be health, it may be housing. There are opportunities in all of these areas, so we just want to focus more investment and entrepreneurship and innovation on those particular areas.
Sure. Mr. Tarver, you've been at this a long time.
Yes.
You also help the young students up there at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. But there's a shift that's taking place in this.
When I moved back here in 2007 from New Jersey back to Michigan, I noticed that there were a lot of needs in urban communities here in Michigan. And we started Urban Entrepreneurship Initiative to focus people on businesses that improve the quality of life in urban communities. But we were strictly a volunteer organization. We were strictly an advocacy organization. So
and now you're shifting to action.
We're shifting more to action and to build this community and support this community of urban innovators who can take our cities to the next level.
So break this down for us when you say you're shifting from advocacy to action. What does that mean to that average entrepreneur that may be involved in this? Give us some examples if you can.
That's a great question. So if I'm an entrepreneur out here who is thinking about, I want to do a business that improves the quality of life in Detroit, how do I go about that, right? It's one thing to convince me that I might want to do that. How do I actually go about doing it? Well, one of the things is that entrepreneurs are always looking for what we call business models, models of successful businesses that work in other places, perhaps, that maybe I can adapt and apply here. So one of the things that we're doing in Urban Entrepreneurship Initiative is looking across the country and across the world at successful business models, or some cases unsuccessful business models, because we can learn from those too.
You can learn from failures, yeah.
But we want to provide more information to entrepreneurs about businesses that might be in an area that they're looking at going into. We also want to provide information on the technologies that are emerging and that entrepreneurs can apply to these kinds of businesses, because as you're aware, technology is accelerating at a rapid rate.
Leaps and bounds.
And that presents potential problems because, for example, robots displacing jobs, right? On the one hand. On the other hand, it can be something that presents new opportunities. And we want to, when you have entrepreneurs and innovators involved, you can take advantage of those technologies to create new opportunities as opposed to simply having people displaced.
Okay, we need to take a quick little break. When we come back, maybe you could tell us about some of the different cities and areas in which you're trying to apply some of this and who's benefiting from all this.
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back with W. David Tarver right after this. welcome back to Spotlight. Talk to us about this new member-driven data model. What does that mean?
Yeah, so what we want to do is to assemble online this community of urban innovators. They can be in startup companies, they can be in small companies, they can be in large companies, but we want to identify and support the people who are involved in creating solutions for urban communities. And so one way to think of it is, you know about LinkedIn, right? Everybody's
Yes.
on LinkedIn professionally. Think about a LinkedIn that is geared specifically toward urban innovation professionals, where these people can meet, can share ideas, can share information, can gain resources, can get investment. We want to provide the hub that these people can come to and get what they need to be more successful in urban innovation.
Are there specific cities that you're targeting and working with?
Yeah, so we are based here in Detroit, and you know, we have an affinity because this is our home
Right.
for Detroit. I'm from Flint originally. I have a lot of affinity for Flint, so I'd like to be in a position to create solutions for cities here in Southeast Michigan. But one of the things that we have to recognize is that in order to be effective providing solutions here, we have to cast a wide net and look at the solutions that exist in a lot of other places. Which of those can we adapt and bring here? And when we develop solutions here, we bring companies here, we start companies here that develop solutions to urban needs, we can export those solutions, and that can be a source of revenue and prosperity for local communities here.
So if you had your druthers, what would the future of urban entrepreneurship look like?
Yeah, so that's, again, a very good question. I like to envision what things would be like, and I often ask my students to do that when we're
And
talking
I bet
about.
you get a lot of different answers.
Oh, we get a lot of answers, a lot of interesting answers. But yeah, so I'd like to see this dynamic community of people who are interested in urban innovation, working with each other, talking to each other, communicating with each other, sharing ideas. We may go back to having an annual symposium like we had before and bring people from around the area, around the country, to look at what solutions have been put in place, to recognize people who have provided great solutions. But basically, I'd like to see more businesses that are making positive change in a lot of different areas. So for example, in housing, is there a company out there that has a solution for creating cost-effective housing, energy-efficient housing, that people who are of working class, middle class people can take advantage of in cities like Detroit and elsewhere? Can that be a new industry that we foster here that is something on the level of the automobile industry that we had before, construction industry? So there are lots of different opportunities in these different fields. I'd like to see us creating and fostering more businesses that actually solve problems in urban communities.
When you look at the renaissance, revitalization, whichever term you're most comfortable with the city of Detroit right now, coming 10 years out of the bankruptcy, when you look at a smaller community but a very vibrant community, Ann Arbor, would you say those cities are doing a good job?
Yeah, I think we have some great examples here. And when we talk about urban innovators, I think that if you look at what Dan Gilbert has done, you know, downtown, that's urban innovation. It solves a problem. It's bringing business, bringing people back into the city. I think that we need more people on more levels who are doing innovation and spreading this prosperity throughout the city. If you look at Ann Arbor, I spent a lot of time in Ann Arbor teaching over there and just going over there. And I think that what you see there is because you have so much energy, so much dynamism, so much innovation there, great things are happening in Ann Arbor, and it's a very pleasant place to be, and the schools are great, and you have a lot of businesses that are doing some interesting things there. So I think we have success stories that we can replicate throughout the area.
If there's an entrepreneur out there saying, I like what I hear from David Tarver, but I want to know how I can get involved, how can they get involved? Is there a website they can go to, or contact
Definitely.
you directly? What would you suggest to them?
Yes, they can go to our website at urbanei.org, and they'll see more about the organization, and we'll have our membership site up in a few months, and they'll be able to join the organization at that point, join this community of innovators. But for right now, they can go to the website, get all the information, and reach out to us if they have questions or they want to get involved. I'm an entrepreneur myself.
Sure.
As you may know, I'm a tech entrepreneur from way back. I had a for-profit business that I sold. I want this to be a sustainable operation for years to come. So while we have sponsors and we have support, we've gotten great support, for example, from the University of Michigan College of Engineering to do some of this pioneering work that we're doing. We want to be a member-supported organization going forward. So again, we'll have a free tier, but then there will be paid tiers for higher levels of service from the organization.
Is this a great opportunity for quote-unquote minorities or women?
I think it is, because one of the things that I notice is that when we talk about providing solutions for urban communities, we see a disproportionate number of people of color and women involved in those kinds of things because they are intimately familiar with the needs. They're intimately familiar with the applications. They get motivated to do work in this area. So I think that this is going to be, has been and will continue to be a great opportunity for people of color, for women, for people who have not been a part of the system up to now.
Great. All right. You're going to stay in touch with us and let us know
Definitely.
how this is
Yeah.
all going as
Yeah.
you move from advocacy to action.
I hope I can come back. I look forward to it.
All right. We look forward to it as well. And speaking about women and entrepreneurs, our next guest, Rochelle Riley, she's director of the City of Detroit Arts and Culture Department. She'll come in and talk about some of the latest things they're doing there with the City of Detroit and arts and branding and how it affects the bottom line. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Spotlight. Rochelle Riley, the Director of Arts and Culture for the City of Detroit. Good having you back on Spotlight. You doing okay?
I am doing so well. Every time I hear that title, I get excited.
That's because you're having fun doing what you're doing.
I am having fun.
You've got so much on your plate and a lot coming up. Kind of tick it off for us. I know you've got the ACE Awards coming up. For those who don't know, what is the ACE Awards?
In 2021, I told the mayor that we needed to honor these artists who have worked brilliantly and are nationally known, but have not literally had local recognition for it. And he gave this tremendous speech about how it's time for their recognition. So we give ACE Awards their medals, just like the Kennedy Center honors, which I stole it from.
You're honest.
I said it when we announced it. And they're medals that are given to creative artists who have given 25 years or more of service to Detroit creative arts.
Wonderful. And the ACE Awards is coming up when?
June 28th. Art is business. The creative arts are made up of careers. They're not hobbies. So that means a dancer is a small business. A musician is a small business. An actor, a stagehand, they're small businesses. And we have to treat them the same way we do restaurateurs or funeral home directors or dry cleaners. So I want people to see this as an industry. So that's why I use creative workforce instead of artists when I'm talking at City Hall about what this is. And one of the things, Wendy Lewis Jackson from the Kresge Foundation, which has held up our office for 5 years and had an amazing 100th anniversary celebration recently, said that it's the first time that the arts and culture mission has been raised to this level. That, you know, previously, and the very first person when I took this job, I talked to Marilyn Wheaton, who was the last one in this job. It was in the Parks and Rec department, and it was treated like just this little thing, you know, here's the arts. And this is now a cabinet level position that has a different purview and a different mission, where I want us to get national recognition for everything that our artists do.
Good. Tell us about some of the things coming up.
My gosh, so we just announced the Poet Laureate, Jessica Care Moore. She's going to be turning it out all year. And then we have the dedication of the Jefferson Plaza and statue honoring the late Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Jefferson, a Tuskegee airman and war hero who was a POW, and after the war came back
and
to be a
someone we all
educator.
knew and loved well.
Everybody loves him.
You know, lived well into, what did he, I'm trying to remember if he actually made 100.
We celebrated on his
That's
100th
right.
birthday, and that's where we went out and dedicated the site. Now the plaza is built, the statue's going to be installed, and we're going to literally unveil it on the 23rd. And I want to thank my friends Cynthia and Edsel Ford and the Henry Ford Fund, because they sponsored that. And we've got congressional representatives coming in. We've got Tuskegee Airmen, some of the original ones and some of the ones who keep that mission going, all coming for that at Rouge Park, where the statue is on Jefferson Field.
That's great. And then, and the plaza itself, that's going to also be
The
named?
plaza's done. It's
Plaza's
Jefferson
done.
Plaza on Jefferson Field, where he once flew model airplanes, and there's a statue of Lieutenant Colonel Jefferson.
All right, and hopefully Lieutenant Colonel Harry Stewart will be able to be there.
He has been invited, and we're keeping our fingers crossed because he turned 100. You know?
Yeah, boy, I tell you, I wish I had those genes.
I know, I
or
want
at least I
those.
hope I have those genes.
Keeping my fingers crossed.
Right. All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll come back and we'll pick up on all the things that you're doing there. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And welcome back to Spotlight, talking to Rochelle Riley. She is the Director of Arts and Culture for the City of Detroit. The Quint Report, what is that?
It is a 124-page document that outlines all the accomplishments that the ACE office has done since I took the job in 2019. We have had hundreds of partnerships and special events and initiatives and ways that we have helped artists, and we just wanted to show our funders and to show the public just what has been happening, because that way I can make sure that people keep it going.
There's a track record there.
Yes.
And people can see, okay, we were here, now we're here, and the city hopefully is benefiting as a result of that. Big picture wise, what do you hope this does for the city in terms of its image, both to people who live here, but also people who don't live here?
The two most important things that happened in the past 2 years, actually almost in the past year, was we got reach outs from other cities saying, we want to come and see what you're doing. We want to try and do that here. Milwaukee, Cleveland, and we had a National Street Art Summit where we had 7 of the top 10 mural cities in the country to come here and have a conversation about murals, including Philadelphia, which has been doing it for 40 years, and said they wanted to borrow our mayor because we were doing it right, and they couldn't get the same type of support even though they've been doing it. That national impact, because that's what our artists deserve. Our artists are known around the country, and we need to stop looking for the respect we already have.
Yeah. When we have events like the NFL draft where 750,000 people came into this city and got a taste of what Detroit is today, when we have the reopening of the train station, which sat there for umpteen number of years as an eyesore, but now is this shining beacon in Corktown and the future of mobility. And all of these things are getting national attention, but it's drawing people, it's helping the Convention Bureau bring more people into this city as well. But when they come here, what is it you want them to experience in terms of arts?
We are the 3 M's. We're the 3M city. Yes, we're motors, but we're motors, music, and murals. And we want them to know our artists, whether they're performing artists or fine artists. We want them to know that everything that we do has to do with who we are as innovators, which we've been since Henry Ford asked people to come for $5 a day and build cars. We literally have sort of a lead on innovation and design. We're one of only 2 UNESCO cities of design in North America. Everything that we touch is great, but we don't always recognize it. So what I want is for us to embrace and to start funding everything that we do at the level that it deserves.
Yeah, and to be proud of what we are
And
doing.
be proud of
Brag
who
about
we are.
what we're doing.
Brag, because we're Detroit, man, and we have shown that in the past few weeks.
No question. The Paul Robeson Theater, tell us a little bit about that.
You know, the mayor's probably going to kill me, but, you know, I think he has wanted to kill me several times. But Paul Robeson was an amazing, iconic performer, but also a civil rights and labor activist who spent a lot of time in Detroit. And we here in Detroit have a theater named for him. It is attached to the Northwest Activities Center, which is one of our busiest rec centers. And it is this gorgeous thing. And I'm like, what are we doing with that and what can we do with that? And one of the things I'd love to do is have us renovate that to be an actual theater space. True story, when the mayor asked me what I was going to do when I was leaving the Free Press in 2019, I said, I need a building for a theater because, you know, I want to have a Detroit Black Repertory Theater because we don't have one. All he heard was the word theater, and he said, oh no, arts and culture. I need an arts and culture director. But I have not forgotten that we have two major theater companies, Black theater companies. They don't have homes. And so what I want to do is make sure there's a place where there can be children's theater, that there's a place where we can have those types of community performances that's in great shape. So this is not an announcement, this is just my dream.
Right.
But I want to try and make sure I start talking to people about what we can do to do something with that space.
Okay. What's next in terms of ACE and what you want to focus on in the future?
For 2024 and 2025, we spent a lot of time on fine art, on murals, on paintings, on the DIA, best art museum in the country, on the riverfront, best riverfront in the country still.
We've been racking them up.
Yes, we're racking them up. These national events where people are seeing us the way they should. You know, this has been going on since 2018. Remember when we brought 3,000 black journalists here, some of whom had been here since the 90s?
And ABJ, yeah.
And they were in awe. I want people to be in awe all the time. I want them to see us doing stuff regularly. I mean, we did the NFL draft, we did the Grand Prix, we did the opening of Michigan Central. I'm out there like really dancing at that concert. And then the second concert that Diana Ross did inside Michigan Central is one of those, you have to be there, historic moments. We need to be doing that kind of stuff all the time because we can. And we're doing the arts alleys, which I mentioned on your program before. We're activating 9 arts alleys in neighborhoods around the city, like the Z Alley downtown, because I want there to be something in every neighborhood that gives people opportunities for art and music.
All right. Rochelle Riley, you're a little busy, I'd say, but doing great things. Thanks for coming in, bringing us up to date. We'll get you back because every time you come on, you have something new to be able to share with the audience about what's going on in this great city of ours. And keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Chuck.
All right. And I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the spotlight. We hope you have a great week.